To see the fully uncut version of this video, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons.
What's that like to live deliciously? Chaos reigns.
Please don't scream.
Nah, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
What's happening? My name is Jonjo Lyons, and today I'm here to present to you my review for Deathcember, written and directed by a whole load of people. Deathcember stars all of these. A collection of 24 films that take a look at the dark side of the festive season. 24 international directors with the most diverse ideas and styles, linked by short animated segments that deal with the advent calendar itself. How you doing, my crew of crazed Christmas elves? It's that time again. Time for the second annual Jonjo Lyons Reviews Christmas special. Last year I covered the absolutely dumbfounding extended music video that was Christmas cruelty, and apart from the beginning and ending, it was pretty boring. This time, inspired by shooting my own short film earlier this year, I wanted to cover a Christmas anthology, which, by the way, there's quite a fair few of in the world. My major, and I mean major up here, is I managed to pick the longest anthology movie ever made. Deathcember is comprised of 24 shorts, meaning the total runtime is 2 hours and 23 minutes. A fact I unfortunately didn't realise until I'd already made up my mind to cover it. Good news is we're going to have a load of different stories to check out, but bad news is by the time you see this video, I very well may be dead. How many Killer Santas can we fit into one movie? Let's find out. But before we get into all of that, I just want to remind you, you can see this video completely uncut and early at patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons for as little as $3 a month. That's it. Want to see the uncut videos, get all the other Patreon exclusive stuff, and become part of our awesome Discord family? Head over there now. Also, as most of you know, my short film Better Anything is currently in post-production. If you did want to claim any of the extra perks that are still on the crowdfund, you can go over there now at the link in the pinned comment or description below. We got signed scripts, posters, DVDs, Blu-rays, a whole bunch of shit. Just go over there now and check it out. I actually just got the score back from Alexander Taylor, and I've got to say, it's so good. Literally couldn't be happier. He did an amazing job. And as I say every video, if you did contribute to the crowdfund, thank you so much for your support. I honestly could never have done it without you, so thank you so much. But anyway, I'm in the mood to go, what? Is that the end? So let's not waste any more time. Get ready to survive a very violent night! This is Deathcember. The movie begins with these opening credits flying through a graveyard and eventually the title card. That opens up and we fly through this colon before finding ourselves in this questionable render of a room. We see the room is filled with items all relating to one of the stories, then settle on this advent calendar as the first short, A Door Too Far, begins. This little shithead gets up and discovers an advent calendar and starts pigging out, shoveling the chocolate into his mouth as the sound of the chewing becomes unbearable. I hate that sound so much. It's like torture. I hope whoever did the sound design on this short falls into a wood chipper. He literally tears the thing apart until there's nothing left when he notices another one on the wall. Cut to him walking and finishing that one off when he decides to pop in this store. He then eats another calendar in here when this fella appears.
Hat dir der Kalender deiner Schwester nicht gereicht? Du kriegst wohl nie genug.
The boy tells the man to eat him and leaves when old fella starts rubbing his pendant, repeating Calendarum Maleficarum. Cut to the kid sleeping when he starts to turn into chocolate in bed, which is also super gross. The boy then wakes up in darkness wondering where he is when his sister opens the advent calendar door and we realise he's been turned into chocolate. The end of this movie for all those eating noises. 0 stars, moving on. Cut back to the room as we focus on this bell and are transported into the next short, All Cells Fatal. Oh, and after every short, it cuts back to this room before going to the next one, so I'm just going to skip that and go to the next short, okay? Unless something interesting happens. Spoilers, it doesn't. Here we meet this fella charity fundraising when he's told no by this woman. She enters the store and pushes to the front of the line because she's a then tries to return an item. The clerk asks if she has a receipt, but when the woman looks, she's unable to find it. She tries to return the item anyway, but the clerk is unable to help her as it's store policy, which she doesn't take well.
Next.
You.
Outside, the woman grabs this guy's bell and storms back in to crack the clerk over the head with it. The clerk retaliates, and this leads to the pair of them f***ing each other up. They then start stabbing each other with pens until eventually they end up on the floor bleeding out. And that's when the woman finds her receipt.
Now can you make the return?
I'll see what I can do.
The end, and that wasn't too bad. The Karen was the clerk was funny, and we got a nice bit of blood. Next! The next short, Aurora, begins in space, December 2389 on the planet Proxima Centauri B. So far, so Christmassy. On the surface, we see a bunch of floaty things, and it becomes clear that someone is using them to extract resources from the planet. Then the planet, I think, causing these seeds to get into the air, which is bad, apparently.
The seed concentration is critical. Beware, seed entry is imminent. Shut down all the pores.
The woman tries to shut down a bunch of pipes to stop the seeds getting in, but one of them refuses for some reason. Needing to shut it down manually, the woman suits up and starts sticking this thing in this thing. She looks at the thing for a minute when the planet gets in and causes a glitch on her iPad. She gets decontaminated, then has a sit down when we see all the pipes are now open and contaminated themselves. The woman then reaches for the as it enters the room she's in. What the f*** is going on? We see the craft falling out of the sky when the woman falls over, and we cut to this card.
Glory to the heroic space travelers, spreading the idea of Jonjo.
Wait, what? That's the end? What in God's name was going on there? It looked nice, I suppose. Next. On to the next short, Xmas on Fire, where we see a whole load of Santas and cops either dead or dying in the street. Oh, and there's a guy in a purple suit who seems to be the perpetrator of this massacre. Cut to 4 hours earlier as we get this Reservoir Dogs joke.
You're Mr. Brown. You're Mr. Black.
Nah, hold up. That's discriminating, man.
They plan to rob D'Souza's jewelry and pop the trunk to get their costumes. Cut to 4 hours and 5 minutes later at a police station Christmas party where this cop answers a call about the heist.
What? D'Souza's jewelry? Oh, shit. Guys!
Cut to seconds later as the jewellery store clerk watches the car full of Santas. He makes a quick call to 911 as even earlier the Santas chat shit in the car. They finally jump out and head towards the store when we see the clerk is packing heat. They have a standoff as sirens start to wail in the background and the clerk pops off some shots. The Santas scatter as we cut to 5 days earlier where we see the head of the gang explaining the plan to the clerk who's in on the whole thing. Back in the present, he whacks on some gloves and nicks all the goods for himself as a massive firefight breaks out in the street. He then leaves, stepping over dead Santas to get to the leader and reveals he's not just a clerk but D'Souza. Now he'll get the insurance and the jewels. The cop from earlier then fires a warning shot asking him not to make her shoot a brother on Christmas. That's literally the line, by the way. I'm not trying to be funny.
Don't make me shoot a brother on Christmas.
And then they break into song. After which it just ends. Wait, what? Why did they sing? What the f*** is going on? Next is Valenkios, where we find a family mourning over their child who has passed away. People outside start to sing a Christmas carol in Spanish and the boy's heart starts up once again. Then they quieten down and the kid dies again. Clocking on quick, the mother goes to grab the carolers. Mum tells them to stop and then tries turning on the radio, but unfortunately this doesn't have the same effect. We then cut to a little while later as the carolers continue to sing and the family get on with their lives. Cut to a birthday party and more of the same before taking a much bigger time jump. We keep going further and further in time as everyone gets older and looks more unhinged until getting to this point where everyone is and it seems like there's a war going on outside. Finally, there is one caroler left when the child, now an old man, wakes up and takes a look out of the window. The man then stabs the final caroler and his life support flatlines once again. And that's the end of that. Did his unnatural, prolonged life cause the war outside? What was the point of any of it? I'm not sure. But I did enjoy watching everyone go slowly mad in what I can only describe as a hard situation, so that was pretty good. The next short begins with someone opening a Christmas party invitation. We see it's this fella who heads upstairs and we get our title, Joy to the Girls. He heads over to a door with a red X on it, then enters to find these three women chilling. They then pop on some tunes and start having a dance party while the man drinks this wine. This goes on for a while as the women encourage him to drink more and more until he passes the f*** out. Cut to the man waking up in a bit of a shitty situation. Well, they then stab the man up and catch his blood in their big old blood bucket. Cut to another man entering the room as the women feed on the blood.
Llegas media hora antes.
And that's the end of that one. So they were vampires? Dancey vampires? Sexy dancey vampires? I don't know. Moving on. The next short, The Hunchback of Bergs Sane, starts with these soldiers taking a hunchback out of his dungeon and parading him through the streets as the gathered mob throws shit at him. It seems this fella has been accused of murdering Mr. and Mrs. John Harrington and is now set to be burned at the stake. He of course says he's innocent but catches a paddling for that, and the executioner is instructed to light the torch. Just then this fella approaches by horse and tells them all the monster has been pardoned. He has been given a Christmas pardon. Now with human bonfire blue balls, they tell the executioner to free the monster, and the once angry mob are now super happy. Cut to the hunchback having a party as everyone raises a toast to him. The executioner looks disappointed as the men give the hunchback some presents, then have a dance. This goes on for a while when suddenly the hunchback is staring off into the distance and we snap back to reality. The end! No Christmas pardon for you. With a face like that, though, it's probably for the best. Not that I can say much. I really love the production design on this one. They recreate a specific era of cinema extremely well. I just couldn't give a f*** about the story. Next! The next short, Family Matters, begins with this fella Mark in the car with his girlfriend. She says they have to go inside as mum and dad are waiting for them, and they exit the vehicle. They're greeted at the door and girlfriend heads inside while dad acts all ominous and shit. Cut to the family toasting to being together at Christmas with Mark when they give him his first present, a red marker pen. Dad confirms Mark knows what to do with it as girlfriend nods over at him. Mark says he does, then takes off his shirt as brother assumes this position and draws this line down Mark's tum-tum. Girlfriend then hands him a chest which he opens as dad says that knife belonged to his dad and grandfather before him. He says it's Mark's turn and girlfriend offers some encouragement when Mark cuts deep into his own body. Oh great, I got a stomach vagina for Christmas last year. Dad then steps towards him and this f***ing squid thing jumps out of him into Mark. Good Lord. Cut to Mark washing his face off as we see shots of what can only be described as a family squid orgy. He enters the living room to see mum putting her sloppers away when girlfriend gives him a hug and a kiss. Cut to them having dinner when once again dad raises his glass.
Welcome in the family.
Gross. I loved it. Probably my favourite of the bunch so far. Let's hope we stay at this level of quality for the next hour and 41 minutes. Oh, hell. Next, we have They Used to Laugh and Call Him Names, which begins with this father and son going hunting. Dad gives the boy various rules on hunting, like always treating a gun like it's loaded, only aiming to shoot, and only shooting to kill. Dad then says today's the day, that he can feel it in his guts, and we cut back home as mum talks to someone on the phone about the pair going hunting together. We also find out the boy isn't very popular in school and still believes that Santa exists, which is fine because he does. He hasn't visited me in years because of all those babies I ate that one time. It was one time, you bearded Bring me my PS5! She puts the phone down and on the radio we hear there was a recent spill of toxic waste nearby. Cut back to the hunt as the gun goes off and the pair stalk their wounded prey. They find it ripped to shreds like something already ate it when dad says it's somehow still alive and the boy opts to shoot it himself. But it looks like the animal doesn't want to go down that easy. Unlike your mum.
You see something in the circle of life and death.
Oh, right in the pocket. Brutal. The boy then tries to pull Dad's guts out for some reason before taking off running as the thing chases him. He gets to his mum and tries to tell her the bad news when she's jumped and the thing vomits all over her.
Mom, watch out!
Mum then tells the boy to run, but he isn't fast enough and gets himself got. And that's the end. Not much of a story there, but I did like the Evil Dead camera with the antlers, so it's pretty cool. Moving on. The next short, 5 Deaths in Blood Red, begins with a naked lady tied to a bed bathed in blue light, which is awesome. The killer enters as the woman begs for her life, saying they're family, but gets her throat cut anyway. We then get our title card, then cut to this fella returning home and calling out for his mother. It appears mother and son are arguing about money when the son's blind sister enters with her husband, followed by their drunk brother. Drunky sets up another drink as mother says they're just waiting on their other sister, who Drunky calls a whore. He says she's probably shacked up with some randomer somewhere and should be cut out of the will, but mother tells him to shut his mouth as this might be their last Christmas altogether. Mother then really hammers home why as she starts coughing up blood. The universal cinematic language to let you know she is Cut to Drunky running out of booze as the first brother sits down for a meal. Now, where's that butcher's knife? Ah, there it is. You could have just handed it to me. In the basement, Drunky goes looking for drinks when the killer creeps down the stairs and gets the drop on him.
Mother! Please, stop! Stop!
Drunky begs for her to stop but just gets absolutely brutalized and dies. Cut to morning as mother opens her first gift, her son's severed head. She reacts badly to this and collapses when Blindo walks out, apparently able to see. She then goes on to do her evil monologue about how none of the other kids deserve the inheritance and how now it is all hers.
The inheritance is rightfully mine. Your real children would have just squandered it.
Whoops! Always keep an eye on your six, babe.
She's been lying to us this entire time.
What the f*** did I just say? Not so Blindo then drops the mother's severed head in a gift box and this one comes to an end. The end, and I really like that one. It was basically a bite-sized giallo. Gory and stylish at times, even if I did call the killer the second she walked onto the screen. My new favourite of the bunch. Sorry, Squid Orgy. Moving on. The next short begins with this girl standing still, looking at something with hate in her heart as the title card Kill Santa rolls up the screen. She approaches her mother, who asks if she found it, then what's up. We then get this weird cut. Cut to the pair arguing again as mother tries to drag the girl somewhere. She says she doesn't want to go, but mum ain't having it. She then says she wants to do something, and when mum asks what, the girl says she's gonna kill that son of a bitch. Mum gets up close, telling her to listen carefully, that they're gonna go home when the girl says he should be in jail. Mum then questions whether it's him, but the girl assures her it is. Mum begs for her to go, but the girl says she understands her mother, that she never loved him.
¿Qué estás hablando?
Estoy hablando de papá. Tú no le querías como le quería yo.
Mum then leaves and the girl picks up a perfect tool for the job. Cut to the girl approaching this store Santa. She reveals the axe when Santa snatches it off of her and goes in for the kill. I guess Mum really did love Dad. The end. Short and sweet. So I guess the mall Santa killed the dad at some other point in time and this was their revenge? Fair enough. And a nice, if slightly digital looking beheading. Good stuff. The next short, Bad Santa, begins with the family sitting down to dinner when the boy asks how Santa can deliver presents to everyone in the world in one night. Dad says he has help from his elves when Mum asks if the kids went in her room today. They deny it and Dad reminds them kids who lie on Christmas Eve get a visit from Krampus. He then explains who Krampus is.
He puts naughty children in his sack and then carts them off to hell, where they suffer eternal damnation.
Alright mate, nice Christmas conversation with the kids. If you lie, you get dragged to hell by a demon. Now, eat your sprouts, you little Cut to the boy tying a string from his toe to his stocking when mum comes in and tells him to get to bed. She buggers off as downstairs the girl looks at a butter knife before deciding to draw for something much more effective. Mum then tells her it's bedtime and we cut to her wrapping gifts. It's also revealed that Dad dressed up as Krampus to f with the kids even more, and he creeps up the stairs to deliver some much needed trauma. He then enters the boy's room and tells him Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas, Leo.
Good! Bloke was obviously a dickhead. Stab him up, little girl. The girl stabs the ever-loving out of her dad when we fade to black and cut to the boy waking up to his presents. How in the hell did he fall asleep after that? Cut to the family opening their gifts in the living room when Dad hands over the boy's next present. He opens it, revealing the bloody plastic cleaver the dad was carrying last night.
Happy Christmas, Leo.
Yeah, Happy Christmas, Leo.
Wait, what the f? So the sister didn't kill the dad? Was it all a dream? Then why did he get the cleaver? And if it was a dream and this is a coincidence, what a Christmas present. And why were they acting all sinister at the end? What the f is going on? I'm just going to assume the kid is already in hell and stuck in some time loop where he has to suffer his dad's death every single night. This one pissed me off. So much so, I looked up who actually directed this, and it's the same guy who did the last horror movie. I love that flick. Anyway, moving on. The next short, Santa is Coming, begins in a living room where this fella sits getting drunk on his own watching horror movies. What? F you. We see his collection that includes this rather fetching Jason mask, as in another room this girl plays with her dolls. We cut back and forth between these two when the little girl hears a memory of someone saying the doll is hers or something. The girl then starts chopping the doll's hair off as it screams, I think, when the man gets up to get more booze. He opens the door to the girl and asks what the doll ever did to her when the girl slams it down. The man then goes to retrieve it when the girl starts biting the out of him. He comedically flings her off when we see the girl picking up the Jason mask as he checks his wounds. Then he hears the girl screaming and rushes out to find this.
아빠, 나 좀 살려줘. 앞으로는 아빠 말 잘 들을게. 나 죽기 싫어.
So, is the doll alive? What the f is going on? Cut to the man dragging something through the house as his ghost daughter calls out to him. Maybe. He turns to find the girl in the Jason mask saying Hannah killed her doll and that they should probably get rid of the knife. We then cut to this shot. And then to the man giving the girl her Christmas present, her dead twin sister, who is now a doll or something. Cut to the girl brushing the doll's hair as the film comes to an end.
넌 살아있을 때보다 죽은 게 더 예뻐.
I'm not sure. So was there actually a sister that the other sister killed and then the dad brought back as a doll? Was that death by sister visualized earlier on in the film with the smaller doll? I don't know, but nice visuals though, and I always appreciate the inclusion of a Jason mask. Next. The next shot, A Christmas Miracle, begins in a living room all set up for the holidays. A woman is heard saying she promised the kid's father she'd say goodbye to them and that it should have been her when we cut to the woman dropping a glass. She's awakened by this woman who says she can have him back and asks what the woman Eva would do to have things back the way they were. Eva says anything and the pair go for a little walk in the woods. Here they stop at a grave and the stranger says the boy is in there and to dig.
I can't.
I'm the miracle you asked for!
And to answer your question, yes I would. Bareback. Now alone, Eva begins to dig, eventually getting to the casket and opening it up, discovering her baby inside still alive. In the darkness, we hear something laugh before cutting to the morning where we find Eva looking dead as f***. We then see the stranger with the now resurrected baby.
And so it begins.
The end! And no wonder I immediately fell in love with the stranger. That's Barbara Crampton! Anyway, so what? Antichrist? The sinister laugh at the end would kind of suggest so. And if it's not the Antichrist, what is the purpose of the stranger taking the baby? To eat it or kill it? It was already dead. Why resurrect it? And so it begins. So what begins? Barbara, help me out here. I'm gonna go ahead and say this is definitely the best produced short so far. I love the way it looked and the atmosphere, plus Barbara Crampton. I still think I enjoyed the Giallo one more, but this was pretty excellent. Next, onto the Lost Cottage in the countryside, which begins with this woman, Valentina, smashing up a Christmas tree because she hates Christmas, much to her sister's dismay. The sister then goes searching for their father, finding him sleeping in his office. Really, really deeply sleeping. The woman then runs off to find the kids, but discovers they're also tired as She passes Valentina in the hall, who seems oblivious to their deaths, then runs off. Valentina then calls out for her dad when the kids spring back to life, as does Dad, who meets them in the hall. It seems this has been some sort of ultra-violent Christmas prank, which I can get on board with. They then go to tell the sister the good news. Well, again. The end! Another quick one with a lot of blood, even if it wasn't real. I mean, none of the blood in this is real, but you know what I mean. Anyway, I liked it. Moving on. The next short, Milk and Cookies, begins with a little boy tending to his toy pony as in the background his parents argue about him. Actually, it's his dad and aunt arguing about how the mum is gone and the boy being afraid he'll forget her.
He's afraid that he's going to forget.
Well, maybe he should forget her.
Oh, that's AJ Bowen from The Signal, The Guest, and The House of the Devil, some of my favourite horror movies. I 1000% am going to cast AJ in something one day. Mark my words. Anyway, the boy stumbles in on the fight and his aunt tells him not to forget to leave Milk and Cookies out for Santa when his dad does this.
Fruity shit like this is why he gets made fun of at school.
Well, now I hope the character has the worst death imaginable. Piece of shit. The boy wants to go home with his aunt and she whispers she's working on it when we cut to him writing Santa a note asking him to fix the horse. Cut to the next morning where the boy finds his horse fixed. Dad asks who fixed it and when the boy says Santa, he throws it in the trash. He then tells him to go to his room before noticing all his cookies are gone and locking the boy inside. Cut to some time later as the boy is still locked in and complains he's hungry. He then draws for his stash of cookies and writes another letter to Santa about wanting his door to stay open. He hears someone on the roof as we cut to the morning and see the doorknob has been removed. Cut to that night as the boy leaves another letter alongside more Milk and Cookies for Santa. Also, it took me a second to realise this, but the boy's got a black eye now. When is this dad gonna get got? He hears the noise on the roof again and takes off when the camera pans up to the attic door as it opens. We then see that the person that's been visiting the house is not Santa, but in fact just a homeless person living in their attic, which is terrifying. The homeless grabs some more cookies, then picks up the letter before picking up a knife and heading to Dad's room. Dad's TV then switches off, which wakes him up. That reveal was genuinely terrifying. Well done, movie. Cut to later as the aunt sits outside with the kid. She says he could come and stay with her forever now, and the kid quietly thanks Santa.
Thank you, Santa.
The end. Not bad at all. Although part of me really wanted the person in the attic to be the absent mother rather than just a homeless guy. Like, she had to leave the husband but couldn't leave the boy, so became a kind of guardian angel. That's the only thing that I would have done differently, but other than that, I thought it was really good. Plus, that reveal from the darkness was amazing. Next. The next short, Pig, starts in a club where this bald fella is being a nuisance. After a near altercation with this dude, he picks up his jacket and moves to the dance floor as we cut to this woman saying she recognized him and that she never forgets her face. She's told to mark him with a P and we see the letter applied and continue with the man in the club. He's then bumped into by this glittery woman who dances with him. Cut back to the woman as she's told to wait outside until we text you. Glitter dances backwards, luring the man away as behind him more glitter women can be seen following. The man then sticks his tongue in glitter woman's mouth with mixed results. That was hot in the Evil Dead remake, but not here. He's then jumped by the glitter gang who stick the pig head on him and shoot him up with a sedative. Cut to a montage as it's revealed all the women are from the same group and are all survivors of. We see them screaming, then healing together, training in self-defense and making whatever this is. Cut to the woman getting her text and the glitter gang taking Pig into this room. He starts to come to and fights back when one of the glitters sticks a hairpin in his gooch, another kicks him with the knife heel, and the final one kicks his leg the wrong way. They kick out of him when the original woman enters ready to face her. They pull out the measuring tape blade, which can't be all that strong, and hand it to her as she approaches the man. And that's when they reveal his face.
Das ist er nicht. Das ist der Falsche.
Ah, bugger. Unfortunately, it looks like the actual was the guy at the bar and they switched jackets by mistake. But they just kill him anyway.
Es gibt keine falschen.
Okay. Moving on. The next short, They Once Had Horses, begins with a knife in the fire as this fella attempts to cauterize his friend's wound. They then discuss what it was that wounded the man, saying it was bigger than a bear, which is not a good indication of their future. They're also trapped with only one way into the valley they're sitting in, and as well as that Louis C.K. looking wound, Josh Brolin over here has got a broken foot, which wouldn't be so bad if they couldn't also hear the thing. That. Josh Brolin accepts they may die tonight when Louis says he doesn't want to, and we get this excellent bit of dialogue.
I don't want to. Well, life is just one I don't want to after another. Maybe dying will just be the last one.
Cut to some time later as the men wonder if the thing left. Josh then gives Louis his Christmas present, a harmonica. Louis plays for a bit when unfortunately it seems like the creature has found a way down to where they are. The men then take aim as the camera pans up. The end. Well written, well acted, very well shot, but in the end it kind of leads to a nothing ending. Shame really, I just wanted to see the monster that be up in them there hills. The next short, December 19th, starts at a party where everyone is having a good old time. These two then start shooting finger blasty eyes at each other and we cut to them outside. Brunette tells Blonde she's going to show her something that she's never seen before and it looks like they're going to go ice skating. Cut to Brunette pissing when Blonde asks if there's anything she should know about this saint of theirs. Brunette calls him a protector of the poor and travellers, then hands her this skate as they head off. Cut to the women putting on their skates and talking about Brunette's brother being a Santa for Christmas. And drink driving, apparently. Cut to them skating around for a bit before quickly tumbling on the ice. Things then get hot when Blonde licks Brunette's boob. And then, if you'll pardon the pun, things go tits up. Brunette tries to get up but slips and breaks her finger, then gets her other fingers lopped off by Blonde. Blonde then falls on her face as Brunette tries to gather up her fingers. And as Blonde struggles to stand, she accidentally plants her skate into Brunette's face. What is going on here? When did this become a slapstick comedy? Blonde pulls the skate out of Brunette's face and manages to hit the road when she's run over by Brunette's Santa brother. The end, and honestly, what just happened? It was all going so well until Blonde gave Brunette's tit a lick. What am I supposed to take away from that? Being a lesbianism is bad luck? What's the message here? Anyway, points for boob and gore. Next. The next short, getting away from it all, begins with this car driving down a road. The driver arrives at this Airbnb and doesn't seem to be much of a fan of Christmas.
Greedy bullshit Christmas crap.
He enters and dumps the wreath before taking off his shoes and dumping these Santa shoes. He then hears a noise and goes to the bathroom to investigate but doesn't find anything. He then gets rid of his soggy socks and heads upstairs, finding a massive decorated Christmas tree. He's about to turn off the lights when he finds a gift addressed to him saying not to open until Christmas. Ugh, that's another thing that I can't stand. Foot injuries. The man lights the fire and opens up some wine when curiosity gets the better of him. He then goes to open the gift when the doorbell rings. He goes downstairs and opens the door to find carolers outside.
Young virgin mother
thank you.
And child.
Not really doing Christmas this year.
He tries to close the door again, but they force their way in as two more of these appear from under the bed. They continue to sing as they restrain him when this fella opens the gift to reveal a lovely pair of socks. Then this one pulls out a saw as the socks are shoved into the man's mouth. The caroler then begins to cut. Ah, great, now he's not even gonna need the socks. The carolers laugh at the foot and the short comes to an end. Oh, Pollyanna McIntosh, I love her. I still really need to watch that third The Woman movie she directed. Anyway, not a bad short. Not quite sure what the message was though. Was it a PSA on why you shouldn't open your Christmas presents early? I don't know, but I liked it. Moving on. The next short, Family Feast, starts at another Christmas party as this woman plugs her phone into charge. She has a quick interaction with her mother, who then runs off before wishing her father Merry Christmas and heading to the living room. Here, everyone is having their own chats when Uncle Santa tries to get her to come and say hello. She quickly excuses herself and checks her phone to find it's been unplugged in favour of her brother's. She's then told to take these snacks into the guests when she bumps into Santa again. Alright, you creepy leapy f***. What's going on here? Rose goes back into the living room and offers snacks when her brother's missus asks if she's still single. She admits she is, then tries to offer the food to Grandpa, who's busy watching a report about a family massacre. Things then start to get trippy again.
On a diet, really?
I do not like this family's chances around Rose, if I'm honest. Things get worse as Rose is met at the door by Zombie Santa, sees Zombie Grandpa on the sofa, and the two other women eating children bits. She tries to take refuge by the stairs, but Zombie Santa has a giggle at her, so she heads to the kitchen. Non-Zombie Santa then enters, and Rose reaches the end of her tether. I know Rose is crazy, but I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the uncle probably deserved it. Everyone reacts poorly to this as Rose nicks her mother's drink and the film comes to an end. The end, and I like that one quite a bit. Not sure what Rose's deal was though. Underlying mental health issues? PCP in the punch? I guess we'll never know. Still, good stuff. Moving on. The next short before Sundown begins with this fella Noah turning up to yet another Christmas party. He looks around the house, eventually finding his sister, who he drags out. Outside, they meet their other brother, and all of them head off to grab extra groceries for Christmas dinner. Cut to them heading home late as they discuss the tradition of getting home before sundown on Christmas. Noah goes on to explain it came from super old stories about a darkness that would take people on this day every 13 years. People would hide indoors from it, and over the years they forgot what they were hiding from and it became a tradition. Middle brother then tries to freak the others out as we see a shadow pass by the camera. He then stops saying he saw something.
She's gone.
The remaining siblings pedal for their lives as we get to see whatever the f this is in the fog. They keep running when Noah trips and tells his sister to go. Oh, nice one for the save, sister. If that was me, well, you must already know by now. I don't have to be fast, just faster than you. Anyway, the pair goes in the house and the short comes to an end. I like that one a lot, and we actually get to see the monster. Also, sister beating it into paste was fun, but I'm not sure that I like the blue blood. On to the next. The next short, Cracker, begins on this TV as we get a very Fallout aesthetic, which I love. Father turns off the TV and thanks Mother for the meal, but says sadly, all good things must come to an end before revealing a couple of Christmas crackers. Mother asks if it can wait until after the daughter has opened her presents, but Father says they agreed to do this at 6 p.m.
I didn't agree to anything. Not like this.
Mother doesn't seem at all happy about this as Father sets a timer for 180 seconds, then offers to go first, reminding his wife it's supposed to be fun. They then pull the cracker and... nothing happens. Father reads a joke and then they pull the second one, but again, nothing happens. Mother then goes to reach for the knife, but Father snatches it away, reminding her that there's nothing they can do. That they, another they, see everything. Daughter then discovers a third cracker when the timer goes off, waking up Grandma.
Ooh, crackers, is it? Oh, give us a go, love.
Ah, yes! Excellent! excellent movie. I love a good head explosion. A buzzer then goes off and this announcer explains the situation. Apparently 1,440 days ago there was a solar incident that severed the Lunar Falls terraforming station from the moon. We then pan out to see the station in space as the announcer explains this is the 4th year of their population control measure which they do to make sure they don't run out of resources.
Charades?
The end, and I loved that one. I loved the style, the tension, the humour, and the explanation as to what the actual is going on. That's pretty much a perfect short right there, and super close to beating Giallo. Relatively easy to produce as well. That's kind of genius. I'm gonna have to look up more of that guy's work, man. That was awesome. Really, really enjoyed that one. On to short number 24. This short begins with Santa driving up to this house in the desert. He gets out and heads towards the residence and gives the door a knock. Inside, this little sister answers, but Santa quickly launches him and grabs the older brother, asking where someone is. The mother then comes out, so he snaps the boy's neck and starts beating on her. Santa starts choking the woman, so she stabs him a couple of times before dying. Santa then starts to search the house, not finding what he's looking for. He runs out into the backyard and creeps round to the garage where it seems a drug operation is taking place. That's when Santa blows the bald man away. He then grabs the chemist, again asking where someone is when he's directed to the shed. He crushes the guy's skull and goes for the shed, but is shot down on the way. In response, he crushes the attacker's skull into a puddle, which is just wonderful. Finally, he gets to the shed and we get to see who he's been trying to save. It's Rudolph!
But there's no time to celebrate. We've got a lot of work to do tonight.
The end, and oh, it was the real Santa. That's cute. Plus it was violent as f*** and not afraid to off children, which is always a lovely surprise. What a fantastic way to end this 24 short epic. We then pull back into the room as the film finally cuts to the credits. Holy sh**, 24 short films in a row. That was epic. But I had a really good time. Wait a second. Oh, come on, mate. Another one? Fine. It better be good. The short begins with this fella Krieger taking a walk through an office hall. He's met by some colleagues, then pops this file on this fella Tap's desk, telling him to get it out by 5. Cut to people setting up for the Christmas party when we cut to Krieger on the phone, as apparently that report didn't get sent after all. He has a moan to his colleague, who then delegates sending the file to this woman as we cut to her getting out of the lift.
Was für ein Arschloch.
She creeps down the very red hall as things get awfully creepy and calls out with no response. In the office, she finds a cleaner just standing there when the woman asks Trap for the report and it's revealed he shot himself. The cleaner then hands the woman the report and her eyes go all milky like. Krieger goes up to handle it himself and grabs the report, giving him the milky eyes too. We then see a flashback of Trap deciding to take his own life when Krieger makes his way over to the window. Cut to his colleague chatting to this woman when Krieger falls past them. We then cut to the boss's final resting place, the roof of this car. Cut to the colleague on the phone with their business partner saying he's taken over and will get the report over to him ASAP. The demon woman then enters and the film comes to an end. The end. Demon business things, be nice to your employees. Got it. We then cut back to the credits again and oh no, you gotta be kidding me. The final short, Ring My Bell, begins with a husband and wife setting up for dinner. We see the husband getting texts from someone who is tired of waiting when the wife says work should leave him alone and reminds him he has a family. Cut to the husband getting more texts and then to the family having dinner when he gets a tit shot and a message saying she's almost there. The doorbell then goes and when the kids answer, they find it's Santa.
Père Noël!
Je peux rentrer?
Oui.
Santa enters and starts handing out gifts, then approaches the table and pops down a speaker. And it's then Santa starts dancing. And come on, movie, can we just get this one over, please? I'm tired. Oh. Well, when you put it like that. The woman wishes the husband Merry Christmas when the wife kicks off. The kids then stand up and the vampire thanks them for the invitation.
Merci pour l'invitation.
The end! The actual end! Although, I did quite like that final short, not gonna lie. Anyway, we're done. We're done. This is going to be a short analysis as my brain is literally leaking out of my ears after writing this review, but honestly not a bad collection of short films. With anthologies like this, you know there's going to be some that you love and some that you hate, but these were mostly all pretty damn good with some great ones thrown in. The ones I didn't like were just because I didn't have a clue what was going on or what the overall message was, but on the whole they were done really well. A perfect Christmas treat for gorehounds. Now, I'm gonna sleep until New Year. So that was my review for Deathcember. What do you lot think? If I had to pick, I'd say my top 5 are Family Matters, 5 Deaths in Blood Red, A Christmas Miracle, Cracker, and Operation Dolph. Honourable mention to that last short. My absolute favourite of those has to be Cracker, by a hair. I just really appreciate the simplicity of the production design paired with this massive idea. Plus, you just can't beat an old woman head explosion. Speaking of which, if you want to see Santa snap a child's neck completely uncut and early, head over to patreon.com/Jonjo Lyons. There you can find the uncut version of this review plus others with more stuff being added every week. We got the uncut reviews, Patreon exclusive reviews, / comic breakdowns and the Discord. And all that can be yours for as little as $3 a month. You can pledge more, I really appreciate it as I need to buy enough alcohol to get through what promises to be a very lonely, lonely Christmas. It's okay. I did it to myself. So that's it for another week. Like the video, leave a comment and click subscribe if you haven't already. My name's Jonjo Lyons and I genuinely hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Just do me a favour. While you're sitting there surrounded by your loved ones, spare a thought for poor old Jonjo, who will be sitting by himself using his own tears as lubrication to punch his pud while thinking about his family dying in a fire. Good night, everybody.